Greetings. I am Deborah M. Stewart, a custodian of the promptings of the divine mind and preparation for the bride of Christ according to Matthew 22, 1 through 14, via the application of the principles of Jesus, the ascended Christ, to obtain Christ consciousness. Today we're going to continue our reading of Solar Biology by Harry M. Butler, and the subject matter is the mechanics of solar biology, followed by the subtopic, the signs of the zodiac. Chapter 2. The mechanics of solar biology. The sun is the center of the solar system. The system nearest planets that revolve around the center are named in the following order, commencing nearest the sun: Mercury, Venus, Earth or Zenda, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus or Herschel. Mercury completes one revolution around the sun in about 88 days, Venus in 224 and 2/8 days, Earth in 365 and 1/4 days, Mars in 687 days, Jupiter in 11 years, 315 days, Saturn in 29.5 years, Uranus in 84 years. These planets correspond to and are embodiments of the 7 creative principles in nature, and are strongest in power and effective when in the 7 vital signs at birth: Mercury in Libra, Venus in Virgo, Earth in Leo, Mars in Cancer, Jupiter in Gemini, Saturn in Taurus, and Uranus in Aries. The signs of the zodiac were discovered by the ancients, who appear to have been in the breath of the solar fluid to a far greater extent than the people of modern times, who live a life and are in such knowledges as pertain to the more immediate atmosphere of our earth. It is claimed by the Swedish seer Swedenborg that the event known to biblical history as the fall of man was attended by a resonance from a loss of an interior breath and consequent loss of and severance from the elemental and exalted states of purity, holiness, and that ever-present intuitive knowledge which had preserved him in the order and harmony of the heavens. While man remained in this interior spiritual and solar breath, he was, so to speak, in the immediate presence of God, and was wonderfully enlightened in the nature and quality of the material heavens, and of the knowledge of how they inflowed and affected all inanimate and even the so-called inanimate objects of the earth. This gave them an instinctive knowledge of the quality and uses of all material things, which intuitive knowledge is that which controls the lower orders of animate nature without their rational comprehension, though they yield instinctive obedience to its laws. And going back to the foundations of history, we find mankind in an ignorant, barbarous state, retaining it is true. Here and there traces of that lofty nature he possessed when in the breath of the solar fluid. But to the masses this had wholly departed, leaving them merely immersed in the elements of the earth and its natural atmosphere, with a long career of suffering and research before them, ere they should again come into that loftier and larger life, that wisdom, health, power, and happiness that can only be known to those whose life breathes the higher atmospheres of the universe. In our introduction, we have referred to the work of the restoration of the 12 natures of the zodiac in Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, as exemplified in the 12 sons and 12 tribes of Israel descending therefrom. It should be observed that the ancient people understood and defined the vast atmosphere or solar fluid of our system to be identical with the life forces of a grand man, and had found the various functions arranged in a circle forming the 12 departments or signs of the zodiac, and had so mapped them out in divisions of 30 degrees each. A remnant of this knowledge had been kept alive, especially in the minds of the acknowledged prophets and leaders of the people, and we find the movement for the restoration of the true order of humanity through the 12 sons of Jacob, not only proceeding in accordance with this system of solar laws, but the scribes as well manifest a measure of understanding regarding the same. We are all familiar with the various changes and seasons that are periodically occurring on our planet Earth. It is logical to infer that there are grand seasons which transpire from Anglois cause in the history of our solar system. The early Grecian poets maintained this idea and set forth that humanity had receded from a vernal or golden period and was to pass through, as it were, a long winter or night of affliction and sorrow. But like the prophets of Israel, they foresaw in the far future the return of sunshine, peace, and prosperity. For the past 100 or more years, there has been a wonderful quickening in the human mind and nature. It has blossomed into a knowledge of practical science, multiplied useful inventions, and industrial processes. These, like the swelling buds that we see in nature, are indices that spring is at hand. The solar fluid is again beginning to course through the grand body of humanity. A new vernal period is at hand. The ice-bound heart and lungs of the earthly nature is beginning to breathe again the vernal fluid of the solar world, or grand solar man, and the genial spirit of the higher spheres is descending like a glorious soul into a prepared and enlightened human body. Thus, much in the way of expansive and descriptive thought, and we return again to the details of this solar science. Our own observations conclusively prove that the solar fluid of the ecliptic in which the Earth and other planets move contains the elements of the human organism corresponding to the 12 departments of the human body. It is necessary to become familiar with the signs of the zodiac. Libra is balance, Scorpio, the scorpion, Sagittarius, the archer, Capricorn, the goat, Aquarians, the water bearer, Pisces, fishes, Aries, the ram, Taurus, the bull, Gemini, the twins, Cancer, the crab, Leo, the lion, and Virgo, the virgin. The signs Libra corresponds to the department of the rains, which contain the energies or elements of generation. This sign governs the back and lower part of the spinal column, the kidneys, and the perceptive faculties of the mind and eyes. This position of the earth commences at all autumnal meridian about the 23rd of September and continues to the 23rd of October. The sign Scorpio represents the department of the reproductive organs and is the foundation or fire principle of the nature, giving snap and vim to the entire system, feeding and sustaining the mind and life of the body when not abused in its specific reproductive uses. The earth enters this sign on the 23rd of October and continues therein until the end of the 21st of November. The sign Sagittarius marks the department of the thighs and represents those forces which contribute to the building up of the muscular system and motor nerves, and stands as the protective, sustaining, and serving department of the reproductive nature. The earth enters this sign on the 22nd of November, continuing therein until the end of the 20th of December. The sign Capricorn marks the department of the knees, which are the general locomotors of the body and representative servers of the business department of the human family. The earth enters this sign on the 21st of December and continues therein until the end of the 19th of January. The sign Aquarius marks the department or function of the calves, of the legs and nerves of sensation, and corresponds to the uses of the body as a whole. The Earth enters this sign on the 20th of January and continues therein until the end of the 18th of February. The sign Pisces marks the department of the feet, which are the foundation servers on which the whole body depends. They form a connecting link between inanimate nature and the wonderful vital structure known as the human body, not merely in its physical, but in its intellectual department and functions as well. The Earth enters this sign on the 19th of February and remains therein until the 20th of March. The sign Aries marks the department of the head, which sums up in a representative capacity the governing and controlling forces of the entire body. Its office being to preserve an equilibrium and harmony of the functions through its medium, the nerve fluid. It stands as the analytical reasoner concerning all matters pertaining to physical nature. The Earth enters this sign on the 21st of March and remains therein until the end of the 18th of April. The sign Taurus marks the department of the back and base of the brain, anatomically known as the cerebellum. It controls the neck and lymphatic system and governs the general principles of sense. The Earth enters this sign on the 19th of April and continues therein until the close of the 19th of May. The sign Gemini belongs to and marks the department of the hands and arms and embodies the function of art and mechanics, especially in their executive department. The Earth enters this sign on the 20th of May and continues therein until the close of the 20th of June. The sign Cancer governs the maternal breast and lacteals and the respiratory system, and is the mother, nature, and provides for the body. The Earth enters this sign on the 21st of June and remains therein until the close of the 21st of July. The sign Leo marks the department of the heart and circulatory system and may be regarded as the fountain of love and emotion. The Earth enters this sign on the 22nd of July and remains therein until the end of the 21st of August. The sign Virgo pertains to the solar plexus and digestive system and controls the selection of food for the nourishment of the body. The Earth enters this sign on the 22nd of August and continues therein until the close of the 21st of September. The order of the signs of the zodiac brings the head and the feet together like the position of a child in the womb. The divisions of the solar fluid have well-defined limits, clearly distinguishing them from each other, so that a few hours earlier or later make a marked difference, characterizing a nature as belonging to one or the other sign. But as it is evident that the Earth is sometimes fast or slow in its movement through space, the exact position of the Earth in relation to these boundary lines is subject to a slight degree of uncertainty, which is mainly confined to Leo, Virgo, and Libra. Therefore, we have to be careful when the date of birth is within 1 or 2 days of the line either way. Since we give the morning of the 22nd of September as marking the line between Virgo and Libra, yet we have found cases where the parties claim to be born on the 24th of September, yet in point of fact had the nature of Virgo, and another person born on the 22nd of September had the nature of Libra. The general tendency is for a person to come distinctively under one sign or the other, and exceptions to this rule are rare. And in the few instances where we have come across such natures, we find the right and left lobe of the brain separated by a marked cavity, and each lobe possessed of distinct characteristics. In delineating character, one comes readily in these doubtful cases to determine by leading symptoms and characteristics to which of the signs they belong, and whether to one or both. This system deals entirely with the signs or divisions of the zodiac and has nothing to do with the position of the constellations. These 12 natures of the zodiac are also grouped into 4 general departments or trinities, each embracing 3 signs, beginning with the meridian and solstice lines as follows. The 4 quarters or trinities of the zodiac. The reproductive trinity begins at the autumnal meridian, September 22nd, and ends at the winter solstice, December 21st. The serving trinity begins at the winter solstice, December 21st, and ends at the spring meridian, March 21st. The intellectual trinity begins at the spring meridian, March 21st, and ends at the summer solstice, June 21st. The maternal trinity begins at the summer solstice, June 21, and ends at the autumnal meridian, September 22nd. The first sign of each trinity governs the general principles belonging to that grand division and is head of the trinity, and persons born in them are disposed to be more independent and self-sufficient characters. And when a planet appears in one of them in a person's nativity, it adds its power and effect to the general principles of that head. In case the most of the planets are in heads of trinities when a person is born, it will give an inclination to deal with general principles to the neglect of monotony, and also give strong self-reliant tendencies. Libra is the head of the trinity of the reproductive function, which is the trinity that controls the world mainly at this time and leads to conventionality. Scorpio represents the interior uses of the reproductive system and governs the private domestic life of this age. Sagittarius is the exterior soldier and server in that special department. Capricorn is the head of the trinity of the general business and serving department and is a generalizer and planner in business schemes tending to monopolies. Aquarius represents the interior uses in business, the trader, the merchant, and the political financer. Pisces belongs to the mechanical and is the restless searcher after knowledge in all departments of the externalities of life. Aries is the head of the trinity of the intellectual faculties. Taurus is the interior and supplier of intellectual power. Gemini is the expressor of mental intelligence, and its uses are exemplified in mechanics, artists, educators, and orators. Cancer is the head of maternal trinity, whose nature lies at the foundation of domestic life and in its larger sense embraces the neighborhood and nation. Leo is the interior and love nature of the family, relations, and also of the fraternal in a wider sense. Virgo is the expressor, chemist, and discriminator, the regulator of the minutiae of service in all departments of domestic life. The solar fluid. The solar fluid is an ethereal atmosphere or sea of fluidic element pervasive of and limited by our solar system, the sun being a reciprocal center for the interchange of forces, while this ethereal atmosphere or sea forms a natural and necessary medium for the transmission of their motions and potencies from planet to planet, and also holds in solution the primeval and basic elements of all possible life and thought to be evolved within the confines of our solar system. These thought and life forces have a gravity or attraction towards the respective planets in a degree proportion to the quality or function of the planet and the adaptability of the forces to find expression therein. Thus, each planet is a progressive electrovital or mental battery of a specific kind, receiving and emitting the elements of life and thought formation, varied in kind and degree by their ever-changing positions from department to department of the zodiac. so that whatever may be the position of a planet, its own nature, together with the polarity or added qualities derived from its position, are impressed upon all the worlds of our system through the pervasive, delicate, and perfect conductivity of the solar ether or fluid. Therefore, with a knowledge of the quality and function of the respective planets, we are enabled to determine to what part of a child's nature these qualities will be transmitted by ascertaining through which sign of the zodiac a planet was passing at the time of the child's birth. Therefore, a planet in Libra will give its power and function to the reins and the mental faculties which the reins express, and so with all planets throughout their varying position in the 12 signs of the zodiac. I want to thank you for listening to this portion of solar biology. I pray that this adds to information that you collect along preparation of your ascension journey. I look forward to meeting you back here next week at the same time. Till we meet again.